Today we give thanks for this magnificent country, and we proudly come together as one nation under God. And one of the things that Mike and I were discussing just a little while ago, people are so proud to be using that beautiful word, God. And they're using the word God again, and they're not hiding from it, and they're not being told to take it down, and they're not saying we can't honor God. In God we trust. So important. A little thing on the campaign, but it wasn't such a little thing to me when I first started 4 years ago. Haven't been doing this so long. We did a good job. But when I first started campaigning, people were not allowed, or in some cases, foolishly ashamed to be using on stores, Merry Christmas, Happy Christmas. They'd say Happy Holidays. They'd have red walls, and you'd never see Christmas. That was 4 years ago. Take a look at your stores nowadays. It's all Merry Christmas again. Merry Christmas again. They're proud of it.
It's a vital tool. It's an important tool. It's maybe the most important tool that they can think of. We're going to build the wall. We have no choice. We have no choice.
This nation hasn't entered into the fullness of her destiny yet. A good president, a man after God's own heart. Never before in the history of the US you have ever had such a president like this.
March for Life is a movement born out of love. You love your families, you love your neighbors, you love our nation, and you love every child, born and unborn, because you believe that every life is sacred, that every child is a precious gift from God. We will always defend the very first right in the Declaration of Independence, and that is the right to life.
And during the conference, I had a vision, and I saw how some of the past presidents of the US are still praying very ardently for the salvation of the United States. Among the many presidents, maybe till that time, I think it was the 40th president, till that time. Among the 40 presidents, heaven only finds 4 godly presidents. 4 of them. 4 of them really godly saints in heaven praying for the salvation of the United States. I only saw one person, George Washington, kneeling down and praying with tears for the nation. And I saw his tears drop down and fall on the sand. And the Lord scooped the sand and has kept it in heaven. And the tear-filled sand speaks unto God, cries unto God for the salvation of this nation.
Americans, tonight I am speaking to you because there is a growing humanitarian and security crisis at our southern border. Every day, Customs and Border Patrol agents encounter thousands of illegal immigrants trying to enter our country. We are out of space to hold them, and we have no way to promptly return them back home to their country. Every week, 300 of our citizens are killed by heroin alone, 90% of which floods across from our southern border. More Americans will die from drugs this year than were killed in the entire Vietnam War. Over the years, thousands of Americans have been brutally killed by those who illegally entered our country, and thousands more lives will be lost if we don't act right now. When I took the oath of office, I swore to protect our country, and that is what I will always do. So help me God.
Now, after a long time, God has given this nation a respite. A respite meaning a time of rest, of grace, in the form of President Donald Trump. That I know beyond all shadow of doubt, and I'm sure you all know that by now, beyond all shadow of doubt, that you have been blessed with a godly, I don't know whether he's Holy Spirit filled or not, at least a born again president, right? A born again president who gives God preeminence in all things. He always starts his meetings with a prayer, right? Always starts with a prayer.
You may be the only ones. Maybe a good solid prayer and they'll be honest, Ben. Is that possible? So Ben will ask you to say grace. Thank you.
Our kind Father in heaven, we're so thankful for the opportunities and the freedom that you've granted us in this country. We thank you for a president and for cabinet members who are courageous, who are willing to face the winds of controversy in order to provide a better future for those who come behind us. We're thankful for the unity in Congress that has presented an opportunity for our economy to expand so that we can fight the corrosive debt that has been destroying our future. And we hope that that unity will spread even beyond party lines so that people recognize that we have a nation that is worth saving and recognize that nations divided against themselves cannot stand. In this time of discord, distrust, and dishonesty, we ask that you would give us a spirit of gratitude, compassion, and common sense, and give us the wisdom to be able to guide this great nation. In the future, we ask in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
From the time that he was voted to office, 2 years have now passed by, and you all will be familiar that from the day that he took his oath till today, there's always attempts been made to kick him out of office.
Traveling the mile from the White House, President Trump was on Capitol Hill this afternoon as chief lobbyist for the project that is his political obsession. But how does he secure funding for the border wall that has become the defining promise of his presidency?
It's cold out here, and the temperature wasn't much warmer in the Situation Room.
Democrats were left stunned at the president's conduct.
He asked Speaker Pelosi, will you agree to my wall? She said no. And he just got up and said, then we have nothing to discuss, and he just walked out. Again, we saw a temper tantrum.
Now, on the day that I left my home nation to come here for the school that we have been doing for the past 4 days. So on the 13th of November, just 2 hours before I was to leave to take a flight to come to the US, I was just in my room minding my own business, doing some other stuff when I had a visitation from an angel of the Lord. And this angel of the Lord, unlike other messenger angels who come to give a message, he had a drawn sword in his hand. And by the drawn sword, I knew he's not just an ordinary messenger angel, but he is an angel, a militant angel, belonging to the warrior class. So this angel came and he said, this is what he said. I have been sent to tell you, to warn the Christians in the US to pray for their president. Why? He is in danger of being impeached and removed from office. But nevertheless, sometimes it's good for someone outside to come and remind us what is in store. So more so than in the past, now, with the tilt of balance in the judiciary and in your houses of the lawmakers, he is in danger of being impeached and removed from office. There are sinister forces working behind the veil on this. Several judges, attorneys, senators, congressmen, and even governors are working on it. Just to get rid of one man, a whole group of lawmakers are working so that they can legally kick him out for good, that he could not come back. You don't want that to happen, do you? This is not the plan of God for him to be removed. It's not the plan of God. Because God has given you 4 years of grace. So it should be completed. Remaining 2 more years, right? So the 2 more years he should complete his office so that you can have the fullness of your grace. So that God's plans are not thwarted or aborted. It can be aborted, short-lived, if Christians do nothing about it. If we don't do anything about it, then the plan can be killed. So it is not the plan of God for him to be removed. And the final counsel was, ask the Christians in the US to pray. So you must pray like never before.
Reverend Franklin Graham calls this a critical time for America and that we need to pray for God to intervene.
We once again place our hopes in the hands of our Creator.
And it's God that Reverend Franklin Graham wants Christians worldwide to pray to for President Trump.
Next Sunday, June the 2nd, I and many other Christian leaders across the country are asking you to take a moment during that day to pray for President Donald Trump.
Graham adds that no president has been attacked more than Trump and that the only hope for him and this nation is God.
He's our president, and if he succeeds, we all benefit. But if his enemies are allowed to destroy him and pull down the presidency, it will hurt our entire nation.
These are urgent times, and we need to pray, not just easy does it prayers, but we need to pray with passion and compassion.
Pastor Jack Graham is one of the Christian leaders who signed the proclamation to pray. He joined Trump in the Rose Garden earlier this month during the National Day of Prayer.
As we unite on this day of prayer, we renew our resolve to protect communities of faith and to ensure that all people and all of our people can live and pray and worship in peace.
Reverend Franklin Graham is asking Christians to get the word out of this day of prayer for the president. So far, more than 250 faith leaders plan to join him. Ben Kennedy, CBN News, the White House.